माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा धवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधारी श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बालदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिता गौरानिता गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नमो शिवाय कृष्ण प्रसाद श्रीमती गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी नाम नमो शिवाय कृष्ण प्रसाद श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नाम नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रसाद देवी शिवनी पास Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasari Gaurav. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Just give me a second, I will share my screen. Share screen. I hope everyone can see my screen. Hare Krishna. If someone can
Yes,
confirm.
Prabhuji, we can see.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There have been some quarreling amongst his leading disciples in Calcutta, he said, and this distressed him very much. Even now in Vrindavan, it weighed heavily on his mind. Some of his disciples have been fighting over who would use various rooms and facilities at the Gaudiya Math headquarters in Calcutta. These devotees were all members of the same Matha, and the building was for propagating Krishna consciousness under the leadership of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Yet even in their spiritual master's presence, they were quarreling. Brahmanas and Vaishnavas were supposed to be free from envy of any creature. What to speak of envy of one another? If they were to fight now, what would they do after their spiritual master passed away? Abhay had no part in these matters and did not even know the details or who was involved. But as he listened to his spiritual master, he also became distressed. Deeply concerned, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta said to Abhay, Agun Jolve, there will be fire. One day there would be fire in the Calcutta Gaudiya, and that fire of party interest would spread and destroy. Abhay heard but did not know what to make of it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had fought so long and boldly to establish that anyone of any birth could be elevated to become a Brahmana, a sannyasi, or a Vaishnava. But if his followers became contaminated by a little wealth and a desire for prestige, thereby showing themselves to be still low-class men despite their training and purification, then his mission would be disrupted. If in the name of religion they became attached to ease, position, and prestige, it could only mean that they had fallen to grasp the teachings of that they had failed to grasp the teachings of their spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada, he was lamenting that these men are simply after the stones and bricks of the building. He condemned, he was very, very sorry. When we were living in a rented house, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, if we could collect 200 or 300 rupees, we were living very nicely at Ultadhanga. We were very happy there. But since we have been given this marble place in Bagh Bazaar, there is friction between our men. Who will occupy this room? Who will occupy that room? Who will be the proprietor of this room? Everyone is planning in different ways. It would be better to take the marble from the walls and secure money. If I could do this and print books, that would be better. Abhay felt his spiritual master speaking to him in urgency. So if asking him for help or warning him to avert a disaster, but what could he do? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta then said directly to Abhay, Amar ichha chilo kichu bai korna. I had a desire to print some books. If you ever get money, print books. Standing by Radha Kund and beholding his spiritual master, Abhay felt the words deeply enter his own life. If you ever get money, print books. Mataji, should I continue? Okay. December 1936. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was in poor health at Jagannath Puri. Abhay was in Bombay and he wanted to write his Guru Maharaj a letter. He is a little kind upon me, Abhay thought. He will understand my request, and he began to write. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. You have got many disciples, and I am one of them. but they are doing direct service to you. Some of them are brahmacharis, some of them are sannyasis, but I'm a householder. I cannot. Sometimes I give monetary help while I cannot give you direct service. Is there any particular service I can do? 2 weeks later, I received a reply. I'm fully confident that you can explain in English our thoughts and arguments to the people who are not conversant with the languages of other members. This will do much good to yourself as well as your audience. I have every hope that you can turn yourself into a very good English preacher if you serve the mission to inculcate the noble impression of Lord Chaitanya's teaching in the people in general, as well as philosophers and religionists. Abhay at once recognized this to be the same instruction he had received at their first meeting in 1922. He took it as a confirmation. There was now no doubt as to the purpose of his life. What his spiritual master had said in Calcutta in 1922 had not been a chance remark, nor had that been a chance meeting. The instruction was the same. Turn yourself into a very good English preacher. This will do much good to yourself as well as your audience. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta passed away from the mortal world on January 1st, 1937. He had been spending his last days reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and chanting on his beads. When a doctor had visited him, wanting to give him an injection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had protested. Why are you disturbing me in this way? Simply chant Hare Krishna, that's all. Amongst his last words to his disciples were, I advise all to preach the teachings of Rupa Raghunatha, disciple of Lord Chaitanya, with all energy and resources. Our ultimate goal should be to become the dust of the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Raghunatha Goswamis. You should all work conjointly under the guidance of your spiritual master, with a view to serve the absolute knowledge, the personality of Godhead. You should live somehow or other without any quarrel in this mortal world, only for the service of Godhead. Do not please give up the service of Godhead, in spite of all dangers, all criticisms, and all discomforts. Do not be disappointed. For most people in the world, do not serve the personality of Godhead. Do not give up your own service, which is your everything and all. Neither reject the process of chanting and hearing of the transcendental holy name of Godhead. You should always chant the transcendental name of Godhead with patience and forbearance, like a tree, and humbleness like a straw. There are many amongst you who are well qualified and able workers. You have no other desire whatsoever. In his last days, he had remained fully conscious and had given instruction until the end. He had specifically and openly ordered that the affairs of his Gaudiya must be maintained by a 12-man governing body, which the devotees should select amongst themselves. Finally, he had said, please accept my blessings to you all, present and absent. Please bear in mind that our sole duty in religion is to spread and propagate service to the Lord and of his devotees. At 5:30 a.m. on January 1st, he breathed his last. Word very soon reached Abhay in Bombay. His immediate response was to cry with grief. No more the joy of an anticipated meeting. No more trips to Calcutta or Vrindavan on the play of business just to see the tall, commanding form of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, the evangelic angel. This sense of never meeting again was difficult to bear. Philosophically, Abhi knew that there was no reason to lament. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had come into the world to execute the mission of Lord Chaitanya, and now it was required that he leave this place and go to another, where he would engage in the same activity. Yet even armed with his philosophy, Abhay felt all alone. His two great well-wishers were gone, his father and now his spiritual master. But he felt grateful that he had received a special mercy, a final instruction just 2 weeks before his spiritual master's departure. Abhay read his letter again and again. There would not be another. The intimate talks and meetings were now gone. But by this letter especially, Abhay would live in the instruction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. The letter had come just in time. Now he knew for certain, no matter what anyone else said, how to please his spiritual master and stay linked with Krishna. Following his order, he would conquer the feeling of loss at the disappearance of his most affectionate well-wisher. Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada Lilamit ki jai. Mataji, is that okay, or should I continue further?
No, Prabhuji, that's all right.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Give me a second, I'll just change. Before we start, we just do the Krishna prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayado Dhiraye Nastapraye Subhadresyu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Meottama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, and a very cold good morning. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 19, text 27. Tam rit vijaya sakra vadabhi sandhitam vichaksha dusprakshem asahaya ramhasam nivaryam asuraho mahamate na yujyate atranya vadaha prochaditat. Tam ritvija sakra vadabhi sandhitam vichaksha duspreksham asahaya ramhasam nivarayam asuraho mahamate na yujyate atranya vadaha prachodita. I would request Prabhuji or Mataji, anyone would like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam.
Tamrit Pija Shakra Badavi Shantitam Vichakshaya Dusprekshana Ashahaya Ramshan Nivarannam Asuraho Mahamate Naujjate Antrana Badaha Pachodita.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I am also trying.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you, Prabhu.
Amritteja Shakravadha Vishambhitam Vichaksha Duspreksham Ashayyaram Hasham Nivarayam Suroho Mahapate Na Ujjate Atranya Bodho Prachodita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Mata.
Tamritteja Shakravadha Vishambhitam Vichaksha Duspreksham Hasham Nivarayamashuraho Mahamate No Yujjate Atranya Bodha Prachodita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maria, thank you so much. Okay. Synonyms. Tam, King Prithu. Ritvijaya, the priest. Sakravadaha, killing the king of heaven. Abhisanditam, thus preparing himself. Vichaksha, having observed. Duspreksham, terrible to look at. Asahaya, unbearable. Ramhasam, whose velocity. Nivarayam, Asuhu, they forbid. Aho, oh, Mahamate, oh great soul. Na, not. Yujyate, is worthy for you. Atra, in this sacrificial arena. Anya, others. Vadaha, killing. Pachodita, from being so directed in the scriptures. Let's go through translation and purport. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the priest and all the others saw Maharaj Prithu very angry and prepared to kill Indra, they requested him, O great soul, do not kill him, for only sacrificial animals can be killed in a sacrifice. Such are the directions given by Shastra. Our request Maybe Nitin Prabhu, if you would like to read the purport.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Animal killing is intended for different purposes. It tests the proper pronunciation of Vedic mantra, and an animal being put into the sacrificial fire should come out with a new life. No one should ever killed in a sacrifice meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. How then could Indra be killed when he is actually worshipped in the yajna and accepted as a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Therefore, the priest requested King Prithu not to kill him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. This is the invocation prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjalasalakaya Chakshurunmitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Bhuta Kadamayam Sada Vishwatam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapad Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Sarvabhutam Parijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Rita Shri Vishakavatam Shakavam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwahanu Sute Devi Paramani Hari Priya Panchakalpa Tribhasya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Just read the shloka one more time. Tamritvitaja sakra vadhapi sandhitam vichaksha duspreksham asahaya ramhasam nivarayam asuraho mahamate na yuchyate yatranya vadaha prachodita. Before we start, we'll just do a quick recap. So, in this chapter, it starts with King Prithu doing Ashwamedha Yagna, not just one, but 100 horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yagna. And the Yagna started with, it was quite grand because so many different personalities were present. And besides great sages and rishis, Lord Vishnu himself with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva were all present there, including all the denizens. And as these yagnas progress, the opulences increase in abundance, which was visible. At that very point, King Indra, who felt threatened, got envy out of fear, seeing the progress of King Prithu, who successfully completed 99 horse sacrifices. Indra's envy, based on his fear that now his exalted position as the king of heaven is going to be threatened. So, as a result of that, Indra in disguise stole the last horse, the 100th horse that was about to be sacrificed. Now, it's like 99 runs have been done and one run to go for the century. And that's when you get stopped. When Indra came in the disguise, nobody was able to recognize him. But the great sage Atri saw through this Indra's disguise and he alarmed King Prithu to stop, who straight away followed Indra. But King Prithu, respecting the attire of a sadhu, of a sannyasi, as used by Indra, didn't try to stop him. Then the great sage Atri told the son of Prithu to stop Indra. And the son of Prithu went to that extent that he was about to kill Indra. Indra, seeing that, in fear, left the horse and ran away. Now this great chase continued for a couple of times, because Indra again came back and stole the horse. And again, son of Prithu went, tried to get the horse back, and Indra again got fear of his strength, and then he left the horse. This continuous action of Indra was introducing the irreligious system, and it was not something that was welcomed by King Prithu himself. A Kshatriya's duty is to protect dharma, and Prabhupada has highlighted this, that because of such introduction of irreligious systems, adharma prevails. So he picked up his bow and arrow to kill Indra, only to stop any influence of irregular sannyas order. Which brings us to today's text. So in the translation, Prabhupada explains, when the priest and all others saw Maharaj Prithu very angry and prepared to kill Indra, they requested him, "O great soul, not kill him. For only sacrificial animals can be killed in a sacrifice." Such other directions given by Shastra. In purport, animal killing is intended for different purposes. It tests the proper pronunciation of Vedic mantras, and an animal being put into sacrificial fire should come out with a new life. So Prabhupada here is highlighting the true purpose of animal killing. One, which is to test the proper pronunciation of Vedic mantras, and second, how would you confirm that it has been tested successfully, or the pronunciation was as per the Vedic mantras injunctions? The animal that's being put into the sacrifice should come out with a new life. So we can see that Prabhupada is explaining us that animal sacrifice, when it happens, the animal itself leaves that body and gets an advanced body, an opportunity to cross over this cycle of birth and death. How? By reaching a point where he gets a human form, a human body, and by doing devotional service, he attains liberation. But in today's time, in Kali Yuga, we can see that animal sacrifice has a totally different meaning. It is only a means for sense gratification. People are constantly doing animal sacrifice just to please their tongue and belly. And they have gone to an extent where they even come up with excuses. If you tell someone that I don't eat meat, they straight away say, "You don't eat meat? Oh my God, you must be very weak." If you go to doctors, they say, "Oh, if someone goes to the doctor and says, I have iron deficiency," the first thing they ask, "Do you eat meat?" No. There you go. That's the problem. And even if you go to gym, some people recommend that, "Oh, you have to eat meat or meat product to gain muscles." So instead of moving towards or trying to aim towards spiritual advancement, today's men are busy in working, eating, mating, and sleeping, and not thinking about this human life. For them, it's all about sense gratification. But they're forgetting the importance of human life, this human form body, which can be used to work towards the greatest benefit, which is what? It's a golden chance for us, for everyone, to get out of this material world, to get out of this Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, and from this circle of repeated birth and death, going through 8.4 million species of life, by following the instructions in the Vedas. Prahlad Maharaj says to his friends in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6, Text 1, Kaumara acharat prajno dharman bhagavatam iha. At very tender age, 5 years of age exactly in the translation, that as explained by Prabhupada, one should be trained in Bhagavat Dharma. So from a very, very early age, early childhood age, one should be trained in Bhagavat Dharma. So they are able to build that base, a strong base, which will help them to achieve liberation and become God consciousness. But today, in today's world, people prefer to be goat consciousness rather than God consciousness. Within Vedas, number of ways of liberation has been provided, but the top 5 ones, or the 6 ones, 6 ways of liberation, starting with studying the Vedas, 1, 2, performing austerities, 3, free from violence, 4, controlling senses, 5th, serving spiritual master, and 6th, attaining the Brahma Gyan. Out of all of them, the most important that has been highlighted is attaining the Brahma Gyan, or at least imbibing the Brahma Gyan, which is only possible by taking shelter of a spiritual master. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 34, Krishna says how one can approach a spiritual master, how one should approach a spiritual master, how one should serve spiritual master. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadikshyanti te jnanam jnanina sattva darshina. To learn this absolute truth, one should approach a spiritual master, inquire submissively, and render service unto him sincerely, not just hear it from one ear and goes out from other ear. Then only under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, a sincere disciple can truly understand the Brahma Gyan, and one can become eligible to cross over this cycle of repeated birth and death, as provided. There are different recommended process for different yugas. Like in Sat Yuga, it was recommended, the recommended process is meditation. And it was possible that time because the lifespan was long. People used to live for 100,000 years. So it was feasible for them to do meditation. Then in Treta Yuga, the recommended process was opulent services. The lifespan at that point was 10,000 years, but the resources required in quantity and quality was available that time. So opulent sacrifices were possible. Then in Dwapar Yuga, it was worship of deities. And now in Kali Yuga, where this age is said to be the iron age of hypocrisy and quarrel, where the lifespan of anyone has come down to 100 years, and now it's decreasing. And as mentioned, at a point it will be maybe 20 years and not more than that, or less. The process recommended is chanting of holy name. As we read today in Prabhupada Letter also, how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was able to see that his own disciples were fighting between each other for opulence, for material wealth. So, in Kali Yuga, the recommended process is chanting of holy name. Lord has, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that there are 5 things that are forbidden in Kali Yuga. It's in Chaitanya Adi Leela, Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adi Leela 17.164. The first thing, Ashwamedha, sacrifice of a horse, is forbidden in Kali Yuga. Then Gavalambham, which is sacrifice of cows, is forbidden in Kali Yuga. Sannyasam, announced order of life. Palapetrakam, offering of flesh to forefathers. And Devaran Sutotpatin, man begetting a child in his brother's wife. But out of this, the first top 2, if we focus on them, it's the sacrifice of a horse, of animal, is basically forbidden by Mahaprabhu himself. So with any form of sacrifice being forbidden, how can we perform a sacrifice? The only sacrifice that has been recommended in this yuga, in Kali Yuga, and it has been recommended by the original spiritual master, the father of devotional service, Narad Muni. Narad Muni says to Vasudeva in Canto 11, chapter 5, text 32, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangasa Parsadam Jagne Sankirtana Prayer Vijantihi Su Medasam. In the age of Kali, the intelligent person perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who sings the name of Krishna. And who is that incarnation? It's none other than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And how does he do that? By singing, by congregational chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Not by killing animals in sacrifice or the god of heaven. Hence the priest requested King Pitu not to kill him. So, and we need to look at the specific instruction that Narad Muni says. It's congregational chanting. At the beginning of Canto 2 or end of Canto 1, where Parikshit Maharaj asked the Goswami that what are the instructions for me, as he's about to die. He has been told that in 7 days he will die. And the beginning of Canto 2, the instruction that he receives is hearing and chanting. They're the most important things. These are the recommended for someone who is dying. And we very well know that with the rising sun and setting sun, as we move, as we grow, we are moving towards the inevitable death. So we should take this opportunity to be part of the congregational chanting of Mahamantra. And as we know that we have this opportunity starting from today at Shri Shri Radha Gidari Temple, where 3-day Kirtan Mela is happening. We all should take this opportunity and also include others around us to be part of such congregational chanting and spread the holy name as recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and our Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. If there's any question or comments, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, we learned a very good flow of this. Though the translation and purport is very small, but it's very, very deep meaning in it. hidden inside, and you unfolded the hidden treasure to us. The most important thing what I understood from you, yeah, nowadays we become good consciousness, good
Goat,
consciousness
goat
rather than,
consciousness.
yeah, rather than God consciousness. That is what is pulling down from this path of spiritual advancement. And you explained how these ages people are thinking, as with the examples of this in gym, people ask why you're so weak. You must take meat, build up your muscles, and that sort of thinking pulling us down. That meat eating is still prevailing, but people doesn't understand the real meaning of the sacrifice of animals, which is as per Vedic injunction. They just deviating from this shastra and make their own commitment to deviate the importance of meat eating. But however, the shastras direct us. That's not the purpose of sacrifice of the cows or animals. Their basic principle to get them a new life. And that is only possible through yagna by satisfying the Supreme Lord. So in this age, as Mahaprabhu instructed 5 things not to be done, so only the last option is open to each and every one. That is Sankirtan Yagna. And through this,
Yep.
everything can be sorted out very nicely without
Thank you.
harming anybody in the society. Everybody can approach toward the spiritual advancement, and to the end of life, they will reach their ultimate goal. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Babaji.
Krishna.
And it's the easiest method that's out there. It
Mm.
doesn't cost us anything. We can chant anytime we like. Even in 366 Ashtakam, Mahaprabhu himself said there's no hardened or fast rule. You
Yes.
can chant anytime, anywhere you feel like. Um, and uh, and its benefit is for everyone, not just for you. The one who's chanting and the one who's hearing same time benefits. Um,
Yeah, and that's why Sankirtan is very, very important. It is not for one, it is for around the people. So everybody gets benefited
yes, Prabhu.
only by hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
pranam.
Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Just taking on from what Prabhu just said, also there's another thing about Sankirtan Yajna or chanting the holy names. It's
Mhm.
entirely in our hand. It's all up to us. Whereas all other processes, we are dependent on somebody else. Like I wanted to go to temple yesterday, dependent on car. You know. So, but it's this yajna chanting we can do anytime, anywhere, no control, nothing.
Yes,
Or by,
Mataji.
so I was very, yeah, that's a very nice realization for me. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Again, thank you again. Wonderful class and the wonderful points and the shloka references what you gave, especially that 5 things what you mentioned, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forbidden, and also those 5 steps up to Brahma Gyan. That also very nice. Thank you for that. I was just thinking one thing, Prabhu. Like most of us, at least people like me, we just do whatever we want to do. In spite of being instructed or in spite of what is there in the scripture. Mostly whatever I'm doing every day is just whatever I want to do. I want to do. Of course, you mentioned that 99.9%. I mean, you mentioned that shloka as well, that meat eating is strictly forbidden, but
Forbidden.
99.99% of the, or probably more of the world, they want to eat meat. So what is the solution? They want to do that, let alone the higher things like chanting of the holy name and other things. For example, even for chanting, they say it is too easy. This too easy method. No, this I don't think this is correct. It's too easy. So what is I just wanted your thoughts on that, Prabhu? Like, because people mostly are doing what they want to do. So I just wanted your thoughts for how to any guidance for that, Prabhu.
I think Prabhupada gave us that process how we can do that. It's basically by prasadam distribution. I mean, we hear every time that majority of the devotees who are in Krishna consciousness, or they come to Krishna consciousness, is because of prasadam. And the more we are engaged in, besides chanting, but also with prasadam distribution, it helps, because we know how the prasadam, the prasadam is not just food; it's a sanctified food, which will help them to purify their brain cells, and then they will themselves at one point think, and Krishna within themselves as super soul will guide them, and hopefully one day they will pick up chanting. The other option is also that if there's someone who still wants to eat meat, we can always chant for them and leave it to Krishna, because at the end, Krishna being the supreme controller, he decides, or it's all under his control, who is going to be in Krishna, who is going to come into Krishna consciousness, or come into devotional service at the end. So we can do as much as we can, and rest is all in Krishna's hand. But
Thank you,
definitely with prasadam distribution, whenever if there's any extra prasadam at home, you can always give it to your neighbors. And if there's too much prasadam left at temple, we can always take it and give it to your neighbor. That way they at least get the taste, and prasadam does magic. We all know that. Thank you. Okay, if there's no other question, Mataji, I will request you to
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the very nice class. And
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
particularly bringing out the present, what is the duty in the present day when the meat eating is prohibited, but people are eating meats rampantly outside the Krishna conscious movement. And as you have rightly told, that we can only give people the prasadam who are in the very low levels of consciousness, because the process is purifying itself, and with prasadam, the mercy of the Lord is there. So with gradual taking of prasadam will gradually purify them, and they will come to their consciousness will gradually elevated, and in this way they will have, and you also know that in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is clearly mentioned that our consciousness or the love for Krishna is there inside, but it is suppressed, and in the present stage it is totally covered. So by eating prasadam or any other process of devotional service, and the first is prasadam for those who are very much outside it. So if they take it or gradually and start chanting, the process will purify them also, and gradually they will understand the taste, the higher taste, and this is the process.
Yep.
We have all been covered by that, and maybe the others will also be.
Yep.
Others will also be affected this way.
I mean, one more thing, Pushpamata Prabhu. I mean, we can always create that awareness, because nowadays you can see people are moving more towards vegan lifestyle, veganism. So we can always create that awareness, but then the time and effort that it will require to create that awareness, and whether they accept it or not, is always a question. And that's why, as Abbas also mentioned, prasadam distribution, or provide them, just calling them over and giving them prasadam, feeding them prasadam. It's more simpler and easier. Yeah. But thank you, Abbas Prabhuji.
Thank you for your nice class.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhu. Before you end, Prabhu, just like to add one incident
Yes,
regarding
Prabhuji.
prasadam distribution. The prasadam distribution has mysterious effect on the consciousness of everyone. We have this Mataji, Bhagwati Mataji, she's a bank officer, and
you want to put it inside?
Yeah. So she was one of her colleagues. I think she's an islander, maybe a Maori or someone. And when she was pregnant, she was giving her prasadam all the time.
Hmm.
You know, every day she'd bring some food and just to help her build up a better relationship. And what happened when the child was born? The child will not take meat. You know, the child will immediately vomit if there's any meat product given to the child.
Hmm.
And eventually the parent did force the child to eat. Then this lady, Bhagavati Mataji, called this lady up because we had this prasadam distribution last Saturday in Pokhara, and she came with a child. I was observing when there was a kirtan going on, the child was raising his hands and just swinging around. So even when the mother takes prasadam, it is affecting on the child.
Yep.
So yes, so such an amazing experience. He was relating to me how this mother became so favorable, just by taking some prasadam. So it gives her a lot of impetus to get out of her comfort zone and just take some prasadam to a neighbor or a colleague at work. So it's a mysterious way how it works, even for the unborn child. Thank you for letting me share this incident. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing the incident. Basically, what we hear in the Shastras, Shabda Praman, and then the practical in life, the incident that, as you explained by you, makes our faith more strong. That yes, prasadam distribution does works. It has worked in the past. It's working in the present, and will work in the future also. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing this amazing incident with all of us.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think with that, I will take the leave. Take all of your leave. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Vanche kalpatarubhyascha
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
Namo
की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Pati Bhakti Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji, Hare Krishna. Krishna.